Welcome to the story of the American Revolution, a tale of courage, sacrifice, and determination that paved the way for the birth of a new nation. It all started in the 1700s, when Britain controlled the 13 American colonies. The colonies were rich in natural resources, and the British wanted to keep them under their control to fuel their own economy. But the colonists were not happy. They were tired of being taxed unfairly by the British government, and they felt they had no say in how their own government was run. The colonists began to protest, demanding their rights as British citizens. One of the most famous protests was the Boston Tea Party. In 1773, colonists disguised as Native Americans boarded a British ship and threw crates of tea into the harbor to protest the British tea tax. The British government responded by sending soldiers to enforce their laws and keep the colonists under control. But the colonists were not intimidated. They began to organize themselves into groups, such as the Sons of Liberty, and they spread the word about their cause. One famous patriot was Paul Revere, who rode through the streets warning the colonists that the British were coming. In 1774, the colonists formed the Continental Congress, a group of representatives from each colony who met to discuss their grievances and plan their next steps. The colonists knew that they needed a strong leader to lead their fight for independence. That leader was George Washington, a wealthy Virginian who had experience as a military commander. In 1775, the British soldiers and the colonists clashed in the Battle of Lexington and Concord, marking the start of the Revolutionary War. The war was long and difficult, but the colonists were determined to win their independence. In 1776, they drafted the Declaration of Independence, a document that declared their separation from Britain and their commitment to building a new nation. The colonists had some important victories during the war, such as the Battle of Saratoga in 1777. This battle was a turning point in the war and helped to secure support from France. But the war was not easy. The colonists faced many challenges, including harsh winters, food shortages, and disease. The winter at Valley Forge in 1777 was particularly brutal, but the colonists persevered. In 1781, the colonists scored a major victory at the Battle of Yorktown, leading to the surrender of General Cornwallis and effectively ending the war. In 1783, the colonists and the British signed the Treaty of Paris, officially ending the war and recognizing the United States as a new nation. But the fight for independence was only the beginning. The new nation faced many challenges as it struggled to establish itself and create a government that would work for all its citizens. In 1787, delegates from the 13 states met in Philadelphia for the Constitutional Convention. They drafted a new constitution that established a federal government with 3 branches: the legislative, executive, and judicial. But some people were concerned that the new government would not do enough to protect the rights of the people. In 1791, the Bill of Rights was added to the Constitution, guaranteeing certain individual liberties such as freedom of speech, religion, and the press. George Washington was inaugurated as the first president of the United States in 1789. He faced many challenges as he tried to establish the new government and unify the nation. The new nation continued to grow and expand. In 1803, President Thomas Jefferson purchased the Louisiana Territory from France, doubling the size of the United States. The United States faced many more challenges in the years to come, including the Civil War, which tore the nation apart over the issue of slavery. President Abraham Lincoln led the country through the Civil War and issued the Emancipation Proclamation, freeing the slaves in the Confederate States. The struggle for equality continued, with women fighting for the right to vote. In 1920, the 19th Amendment was ratified, giving women the right to vote. The fight for equality continued in the 20th century with the Civil Rights Movement. Leaders like Martin Luther King Jr. fought for an end to segregation and discrimination. The United States continued to push boundaries, landing a man on the moon in 1969 and becoming a world leader in science, technology, and innovation. Today, the United States is a diverse nation with people of all backgrounds and beliefs. The The American Revolution laid the foundation for a new nation built on the principles of democracy, freedom, and equality. And so the story of the American Revolution comes to a close, a tale of courage and determination that continues to inspire us today.